a champion's final moments, and a mountain rescuer pushed to his breaking point. What really happened between Laura Dahlmeier and Thomas Huber? The truth behind the drama is more intense than you think. German sports legend, Olympic champion, and steel-hearted ice princess Laura Dahlmeier died on a mountain she loved. Something else sits beneath a tremendous melancholy. What really happened on Pakistan's Mount Lila? Why did experienced rescuer Thomas Huber get angry? Get the truth about Laura Dahlmeier's dying moments and Germany's shocking tragedy. Avoid missing out. Remembering Laura Dahlmeier's youth helps us grasp her lesson and Thomas Huber's fury. She was more than her medals. She was a feeling, a representation of a location and lifestyle. With humility, determination, and an unwavering passion for the mountains. It started where the Alps meet the sky. Birth date, 22nd. Born in August 1993 in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, she grew up facing the Bavarian Alps. She was a true mountain child, familiar from an early age with the sound of snow crunching underfoot, the hardship of climbs, and the art of falling and getting up. Laura skied on weekends while her peers went shopping or wore the latest fashions. She started skiing at 5. Her first biathlon training was aged 7. Her distinctive blend of raw physical strength and ice-cold mental precision defined her from the start. She appeared destined for biathlon, that exhausting race between sprinting to exhaustion and hitting a tiny black target with shaky hands and a pounding heart. Germany had the best biathlon at the time. Do you recall the days when Magdalena Neuner and Uschi Dissel ruled the news and charmed millions? Winter queens? The retirement of these renowned stars created a void. Laura Dahlmeier emerged into the spotlight nearly unnoticed. First in juvenile competitions, then World Cup. She was no exuberant athlete. She was quiet but reliable, always humble, ambitious. She stood out for her talent and attitude. She trained. She was meticulous. She examined wind patterns, strategies, and equipment. To relax before crucial races, she studied concentration books and meditated. She embodied control in a sport where a missed shot or blink of inattention can mean win or defeat. She intimidated her opponents with her composure and mental power. It wasn't just discipline that distinguished her. Laura exuded calm charisma. She spoke rarely, yet people listened. Her words mattered. She never wanted to be famous, yet inspired a generation. Not by spectacular gestures or extravagant sponsorships, but through her consistency and charming authenticity, she existed. People sensed it. She reached her career peak at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. She detonated on the world's biggest stage. She took gold in sprint and pursuit and bronze in individual. She was the first German biathlete to win sprint and pursuit at the same games. She shot precisely. She seems focused. Germany thrilled at a new winter fantasy. She became a national phenomenon overnight. The media called her Ice Princess with a heart of steel. School notebooks featured her drawings, and biathlon clubs across saw record growth. Everyone aspired to Laura. Beyond the cheers and cameras, something changed. Laura became more introverted as sponsorship deals, television appearances, and awards piled up. She described her emotional torment as not feeling herself in rare, honest interviews. Everyone wanted to honor her. However, she pondered if she was still the same person who ran through the snow in Garmisch with bright eyes, facing the strain of top athletics, constant inspection, and the goal of perfection. All this left a mark, deep marks. Her friends said she often traveled to the mountains alone to breathe. Her meditation was unique. As she reached the top of athletic accomplishment, she appeared to realize that ultimate freedom was where the applause dies and only the wind whistles through the rocks. Thus, Laura Dahlmeier inspired via her athleticism and willingness to challenge norms. She was one of a new breed of athletes that craved recognition and freedom. Even if this path away from the cameras led to alpine peace, May 2019 brought the sporting world's shocker. She retired at 25 at her best. No goodbye tour, passionate finale, or great production. Just a sober press release and an almost hesitant video in which she remarked, "I no longer feel like I'm 100% there. Anyone who knows me knows I never do anything halfway." The sports world gasped. Commentators, experts, fans, nobody understood it. How could someone with so much talent and potential quit? It wasn't an escape for Laura, a freedom, the boldest and most consistent move of her career, a personal choice. She didn't vanish. Her identity changed. The Ice Princess truly became a mountain lady. She studied sports science at university and became a state-certified mountain guide after rigorous training. She commented on biathlon races on television and worked in mountain rescue. She never lost her desire for the peaks and the wild. Quite contrary. She became lured to the most distant locations, where there are no paths or television crews. She provided talks on mental fortitude and discovering one's path, wrote books about her outdoor adventures, and chronicled stunning climbing excursions. Her eyes showed a fresh hunger to those who looked closely. "We want expansion, not competition. No more applause, just stillness." Her recent journey to Pakistan was the next stage. It was a difficult uphill climb. They sought Lila Mountain, a 6,000-meter Karakoram mountain, a peak known to international alpinists for its stunning beauty, danger, and technical difficulty. She added, "I believe that only in silence can one discover who one truly is." No one could have known that this stillness, which she so badly wanted, would soon be forever. In one of her last interviews before the trip, Lila Peak is unique. Its almost flawless, irregular peak pierces Pakistan's sky. This peak is stunning yet dangerous. The weather changes in minutes, rockfall is constant, and over 6,000 meters is harsh. This mountain is for experts who can push themselves physically and mentally to the limit. It was Laura Dahlmeier's ideal post-biathlon task. She spent months preparing for this excursion with her rope partner, alpinist Marina Kraus. It wasn't impulsive. She meticulously prepared the project like she had when she was the world's finest biathlete. Summiting Lila Peak was intentional. Laura dreamed about this peak, according to mountain rescuer Thomas Huber, who would be crucial. "I know that Laura always raved about one mountain, and that was Lila Peak," he told Bayerischer Rundfunk later. Huber said contact was near before the expedition. Due of their interest in the mountains, we communicated ahead. I talked to them a lot, even suggesting mountains for them. Laura was determined to reach Lila Peak. They understood hazards. They knew the risks. They were likewise well prepared. They evaluated weather forecasts, routes, and acclimatized. In the mountains, fate is uncontrollable. Marina Kraus, visibly distraught, recounted the turning point at yesterday's touching press appearance. The tragedy was made worse by this detail. She shakily continued, "Maybe the accident could have been avoided," fighting back tears. "We should have departed 30 minutes earlier. 30 minutes, 1/2 hour. This is a small moment in real life. On the mountain, it might be life or death." Kraus said they were on their way down when it happened. A surprise occurred. Laura had issues. Marina Kraus reacted instinctively in shock. Emergency services were notified promptly by satellite phone. She realized a helicopter was her only hope. Desperate rescue efforts raced against time and nature. An international team of elite mountaineers was in the region when a military chopper took off on the 29th of July. There were seasoned U.S. mountaineers Jackson Marvell and Alan Russo, German Thomas Huber, and American Ted McGuire. A desperate miracle attempt was a race against time. Jackson Marvell informed AFP of the unsuccessful rescue flight. His remarks were a terrifying reminder of the mountain's eventual judgment. "We flew around the mountain several times," Marvell added. Thomas Huber's terrible account of this incident sheds light on mountain rescuers' minds. The rescue mission began. "We had to function even after finding Laura," he said. "We had to think rationally and decide what to do. Emotions were off. Common reason was the only voice." The crew couldn't help Laura Dahlmeier. The altitude and impassable terrain prevented rescue. Dream Mountain is her final resting place. After this unspeakable event, the drama's second act begins. A digital act, not on the mountain. Huber said they chose Thursday for this press conference after considerable thinking. The decision was especially brave for Marina Kraus, who had lost her climbing partner and close friend. "We decided to do this so we could answer all open questions directly," he said. Huber was astonished and upset by what the squad experienced immediately afterward. Social media comment sections, live streams, and forums erupted with comments. Huber commented, "You have no idea what goes through our minds when we have to tell this story on camera. Are you supposed to cry? I haven't even had time to truly process the loss yet." Words reflect deep hurt, the struggle between professionalism and grief. "After returning from the mountain, I was able to contemplate, let go, grin about Laura, cry, and hardly believe it had happened." Huber's reaction is more than an emotional outpouring. It's a call for compassion. He said he will return to the mountains on Saturday and asked us to remember that behind these public icons are real individuals. "I hope we all, especially Marina, have time to process this. I knew Laura well enough to know she wanted peace to return. While others judged, sports and her hometown said goodbye." St. Martin's Church in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, her hometown, hosts a memorial for her where friends, neighbors, former colleagues, and classmates can grieve. Biathlon. Her second family is devastated by her passing. Renowned French biathlete Martin Fourcade, a close friend and competitor, paid homage. "We shall miss your compassion. We'll think of you on every peak we climb, Laura." He tweeted a photo of Dahlmeier smiling and free on a mountain hike with his statement. Ingrid Landmark, Tandre Wolt of Norway, and Quentin Fillon-Maillet of France also expressed their deepest sympathy, contrasting with Huber's infuriating, cold, judgmental comments. Her family's words were perhaps the most touching. Laura Dahlmeier's cousin, Paulina Weigelt, expressed her grief and said the mountains were Laura's home. She wanted to climb every peak and face every difficulty. She achieved so with a powerful laugh and amazing joie de vivre, ending her article with lines that dig under your skin. "You adored your last summit, and I know you're finally where you've always felt free. Rest in peace, my dear cousin." Some people leave deep, obvious markings in the ice, a testament to their strength, determination, and a road few dare to follow. Laura Dahlmeier came quietly, triumphed almost silently, and left quietly. But what remains when the snow covers the last physical trace? What is the true legacy of a woman who turned back at the pinnacle of success? The answer may be the story's climax. An inner transformation. Many will remember her as the invincible Olympic champion. As the 7-time world champion who enthralled a nation, we remember the numbers, records, and victories. The media's portrayal of the ice princess with a steel heart only reveals half the story. Behind the young woman who collected medals like stamps was a profound, questioning spirit. Even at 20, she was exhausted. The German Ski Association advised rest breaks, but she always recovered. They were stronger, faster, and more precise. Their 2016-17 breakthrough was historic. She won the overall World Cup ranking and 6 medals in 6 races at the World Championships in Hochfilzen, 5 gold and 1 silver, a record that self-proclaimed legends like Magdalena Neuner and Ole Einar Bjorndalen never attained. Press termed it a biathlon miracle. Sponsors lined up. Germany had a winter queen. Laura was surprisingly quiet, almost untouched by the chaos. She avoided long-term ambitions in interviews, speaking of tiredness and a profound longing for the mountains, quiet, and simplicity. Other competitors dreamed about the next Olympic Games. She lived two lives: a world-class athlete, renowned worldwide, and a young woman from Garmisch, who longed for her homeland's peace. The genuine highlight of Laura Dahlmeier's life was her decision to leave it all behind. Retirement wasn't an escape from strain. She turned within and declared that she could no longer offer 100%. It was a real statement. Laura showed us how to win, but most importantly, how to let go, in a performance-oriented culture that pushes us to be, do, and have more. Her life after biathlon showed that she didn't hurl herself into the void, but filled it with new, true hobbies. She became a mountain guide to share her passion of nature, worked in mountain rescue to help others, and commented on biathlon races to teach a new generation. She traded stadium adulation for the sound of her footfall on the rock, shooting range pressure for the endless expanse of a mountain landscape. And perhaps she was more successful and happy in those times than in any of her Olympic successes. Everyone who has seen her on the Loipa will never forget her gaze, focused, penetrating, determined, but also soft, reserved, and detached from the clamor and bustle. Perhaps she knew back then that the actual summit isn't gold, but ephemeral moments in which one confronts oneself. Her road brought her to pedestals, stillness, forests, and heights where breathing becomes thin and thinking becomes clear. She has found her eternal home between rock and sky, amid Layla Peak's majestic and unforgiving beauty. The greatest stars don't disappear. They live on in others' memories and values. Laura Dahlmeier was an amazing athlete, with curiosity, courage, and humility. She never chose the easy way out in athletics or life. She seems to have focused on others' safety, even in her final desire. Now that she is part of the mountains forever, her grin is in every peak breeze, her voice in every snow crunch, and her strength in everyone who remembers and is inspired by her. We said goodbye to a legend, and a man who made the world quieter and brighter. Their snowmark of authenticity and courage will never fade. Thomas Huber and his anger. His reply woke us up and called for empathy. In a time when anyone may evaluate others' feelings from a keyboard, it reminds us that behind every headline and press conference are people. For those mourning, hurting, and needing time to understand the inexplicable, respect may be the finest memorial we can create for Laura Dahlmeier. Laura Dahlmeier died too soon. Her message is eternal. You can accomplish without losing yourself, and admitting weakness and asking for help shows strength. She taught us that the true pinnacle of life is living in harmony with oneself and one's values, not standing on a pedestal. Do we chase society's goals or follow our hearts? Do we have the courage to say no when something no longer feels right, even when the world is screaming yes? Laura did it. Laura Dahlmeier has reached heights few can match in her high-level career. Laura Dahlmeier was a special talent and a paragon of discipline, determination, and mental strength in a sports world where it takes years to succeed. Her biathlon performances caught the attention of many, even as a teenager. Her World Cup breakthrough came in 2015-16, but her true masterpiece came a year later. She became the world's greatest biathlete in 2016-17 after winning the World Cup with impressive consistency. She dominated the 2017 Biathlon World Championships in Hochfilzen, Austria. She became the first woman to win 5 individual medals at a World Championships, a record that stands today, by winning 3 gold medals in the sprint pursuit, an individual, a silver in the relay, and a bronze in the mixed relay. She became the most successful German biathlete at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, with gold medals in the sprint and pursuit and a bronze in the individual event. Despite foul weather, she was nearly perfect on the shooting range in both gold medal events. She subsequently stated in an interview, "It was a race against myself." Images of her lifting her arms over her head and staring up at the sky after crossing the finish line traveled across the world as a gesture of relief, not success. Laura Dahlmeier studied sports science and environmental science, wrote a children's biathlon book, became involved in sustainability, and worked as a ZDF winter sports expert. What was the most important lesson you learned from Laura Dahlmeier's life and tragic death?